Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday edition of the Morning Jog. My name is Matt Cohan and I am joined here by two guys I missed over the weekend, Robbie Berger and Francis Ellis. How are we, fellas?
I'll tell you right now, I don't think you guys are ever going to get a better backdrop from me than what you're seeing right now. That's Pebble Beach you're looking at there, boys and girls.
At least throw it in a frame, dude.
Yeah, it looks like a Zoom background, actually.
I like it. Yeah, I like that. That's really nice. Have you ever been there, Robbie?
No, I feel like I'm there right now, but no, I've never been.
All right, fellas, I'm going to take a serious turn here before we start it up. Here on the Morning Jog, our sole intention is to deliver the news in an entertaining way. But obviously, in the wake of the George Floyd murder and the subsequent riots, there isn't much news out there that can be subjected to the lighthearted takes you're used to hearing on the show. So we picked a couple lighter stories that are related to the current situation, but not at the heart of it. The last thing we want to do here is undermine the gravity of what's going on, but we also want to continue our mission of providing levity and entertainment. And I'm sure you guys at home can get the heavy stuff literally anywhere else on the internet. I know, Francis, you're in New York. Robbie, you're in LA. And if you guys have anything further to say before, then go for it. But if not, we can get into it.
I think
that covers it.
Yeah.
Kosher. Well, let's get into fucking David Guetta, guys. The DJ during his United at Home fundraiser live stream dance party. Guetta performed from the top of the skyscraper in New York. He looks like he's having the very best time. We'll get a video up there for you.
So this record is in honor of George Floyd. And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
So even though we face difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
To his credit, the concert did raise over $450,000 for relief efforts to help frontline workers, essential staff in immigrant communities, and more. Robbie, what's your take on Mr. Guetta here?
Look, it's hard to get on a guy that's raised that much money. It really is, for all the right things. Yeah, I will say, out of all the people and artists, that could have gone up there, it was a little different to see a DJ up there doing, like an EDM style. It was definitely bizarre, and I think at times maybe a little bit cringe. But when watching it, I did realize he had the right mindset about it. Again, you can't argue with the money that is raised, but the setting, it looks like he was on the top of the Statue of Liberty. It was a lot to take in. There was a lot of moving parts to it. But again, he had the right message, the right idea, although I definitely did cringe at a few things.
Francis?
Look, motivational civil rights speakers, snippets of great speeches have been used before in music. Typically in songs about race, in songs about racial tension by, Black artists. And that's great. The problem here is that you've got David Guetta putting out an album that's going to be like, I have a dream that one day my children will put their fucking hands up. Yeah. And that is not going to fly. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, those two things don't really live together. So I think that's the tough part. Like, if you're mixing like Martin Luther King and your aspirations to be in Ibiza for the weekend, it's oil and water. But having said that, look, you talk about Lance Armstrong and the amount of money that he raised for cancer research and the hope that he provided for so many people fighting cancer, and obviously does his doping offset all of that. And I posit that it does not. $450,000 You know, is any civil rights foundation or movement going to turn that money down because it came through turntables? Like, I don't think so. So in the end, I'm actually with Robbie here. Like, I don't really think this is that bad. I think the good outweighs the bad here.
Yeah, and it's like, what would you expect David Guetta to do? You know, he's not going to deliver the Killer Mike speech. He's doing what he's been famous for. And the song kind of slaps, in my opinion.
He's not going to make a State of the Union address, and
No.
he wanted to help out. And it was bizarre, but again, I guess hats off to him.
It's kind of like, I want my rock stars to be assholes. I want my EDM stars to be completely oblivious. I'm fine with this.
Very well said, that.
All right, fellas. While we're on the topic of good intentions gone bad, this is a Francis special here. Glee star Lea Michele was outed by her former co-star Samantha Ware for being a bad person after Michele tweeted in support of George Floyd. Michelle's tweet read, "George Floyd did not deserve this. This was not an isolated incident, and it must end. # Black Lives Matter." Ware then claimed the actress made her life a living hell on set, even once threatening to, wait for it, fellas, shit in her wig. Ware's tweet read, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell? Because I'll never forget. I believe you told everyone that if you had the opportunity, you would shit in my wig," amongst other traumatic microaggressions that made me question a career in Hollywood. Other co-stars piled it on, with some saying that, you know, Lea wouldn't let her sit at the table with her and all this. Francis, you blogged about this. Give us your take.
Yeah. Look, first and foremost, I don't trust people that have two first names. I don't. I struggle with that. I remember Will Ferrell seeing some behind-the-scenes thing about how he and John C. Reilly come up with their characters, like when Adam McKay and they would write those movies, and basically they come up with the names of the characters first, Ricky, Bobby, and they love characters that have two first names because they know nobody will take that person seriously, and that's how I feel about Lea Michele. I was a Glee fan. I watched
an omission here on the morning jog.
Yeah. I watched at least the first 2 seasons.
Only on the morning jog.
Yeah, and then I kind of, I don't know, lost a little interest when the main guy died of an opioid overdose or something. Pretty dark show for reality behind it, what was supposed to be a lighthearted show. But look, here's what I don't understand. I think this speaks to the level of narcissism that happens with big television stars or movie stars. How did Lea Michele not think it was going to come back to haunt her? Like, as I said in my blog, if you're a celebrity like this and you do those things, you say, I'm going to shit in her wig or not let black people sit at your table, whatever it is, you have to spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder for that tweet storm that is going to come up. You know, there's really no fending it off. So I don't know if that means that Lea Michele shouldn't have tweeted something in regard to like the racial stuff, because immediately that was the springboard that allowed her black co-stars to reveal her for the disingenuous liar that she is. Like, the amount of hypocrisy there. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Either way, I think this is a really bad look for her. Just a long example of like famous people not having any clue what was coming for them.
Francis, that's surprising. I guess shit in the wig, is that like a racial thing?
Yeah, it is, because Samantha Ware is black, and a wig here would be a term referring to her weave. And to say that to a black person is really bad.
Robbie?
I would be curious for Lea Michele as far as, when she put this out, she probably had no idea that it was going to go there. But, the Ellen DeGeneres thing was one that I actually had to really digest, hear different angles, see a couple of Francis's blogs, here and there. Is she a bitch? Is she not? This, I so see. Anybody on the lead role of the cast of Glee, there's going to be some sort of drama that comes out because they got to be a dramatic person to even get that role. So I'm surprised that any Glee drama took this long to come out. But yeah, I mean, look, how can you say it's not a bad look for her? And, look, there's other things, of course, to worry about, but you got to wonder, is Lea Michele now canceled?
Yeah, I mean, this is going on the same route that I think Francis rails against. And there was another actual co-star or whatever. I think she was like an actress that came on later, and she like came out, tried to piggyback on it. And she said, I asked her for an autograph and she didn't give it to me, and I cried all the way home. So you're getting all of these levels. You're getting kind of,
people pile
petty
on.
fogging it.
And look, Matt, I don't normally like that because, yeah, the autograph thing has nothing to fucking do with
You're right.
Lea Michele potentially being a racist person.
You don't think LeBron James is out there that hasn't signed a couple autographs? You don't know if he was busy. That part is ridiculous.
Yeah, and you find that when someone opens up the can of worms, everybody starts throwing in their version, and a lot of those versions have nothing to do with the original conceit of what we were talking about, which is that Lea Michele shouldn't be saying that to a black person. You can't say, I'm going to shit in your hair, your weave, your wig, to anybody. I mean, as funny as that image kind of is, I'm just picturing somebody like not knowing that there's like a Three Stooges scene where you put on like a helmet and there's banana peels in it or something. Instead, it's shit.
Yeah. Like Robbie said, it's amazing to think like she probably thought that was just the biggest down the middle tweet. I'm with this guy who got murdered. She thought it was, couldn't have been more vanilla, and then boom.
Yeah. I would love just to be a fly on the wall to watch that, how she went about that. I mean, she probably had no idea that this was coming. Yeah. And you know what? It sounds like if she did this, it's deserved. I just don't
good
think
for you. She got what you had coming. Right. All right, fellas, we're going to end this on I guess this is a good story. It started out a very bad story, but former firefighter Corboy Bala, the owner of Scores Sports Bar in Minneapolis, was one of the local restaurant owners affected by the protests and lost his life savings when rioters destroyed his business.
Today, we found Corboy Bala, who invested his life savings into opening this sports bar, cleaning up. While our camera was there, looters came back to try to steal his safe.
Right, trying to steal the safe.
I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to work so hard to get here. So hard.
Bala told CBS News last week while holding back tears, I don't know what we're going to do. It hurts, man. It's not fair. It's not right. We've been working so hard for this place. It's not just for me. It's for my family. The father of four's bar was set for its big grand opening following COVID-19, but never got the chance. A GoFundMe was then set up in his name and has garnered over $1 million from 34,000 donors, breathing life back into his dream. Bala wrote on the GoFundMe page, "This has been such an eye-opening experience. The world has poured into me and my family to support our business. He has since used some of the funds to buy food and supplies for those in need of the community." Feel good story, Francis.
Yeah. Look, I mean, this is exactly why the looting and the rioting, really the looting is so bad, because they're destroying Black-owned businesses too. There's no real regard. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just chaos and anarchy when you're breaking down shop windows, lighting storefronts on fire. You don't know who owns that place. The person that owns that place might be a huge advocate for, curbing police brutality. It might be an outspoken community leader. It might be, and that's why it is really sad. So it's great to see this, but unfortunately, this is one positive case in what I'm sure is a slew of many, many other horrible stories that have not received the attention or the GoFundMes to help them right the ship. And these businesses, man, I mean, it could not have come at a worse time. It's like they were already fucking suffering from this.
This business
pandemic.
hadn't even opened yet. And it was like expected to be the grand opening. And it was just like, nope.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a heartening one-off story that speaks to a broader problem. I also noticed that the George Floyd family funeral GoFundMe, their goal was to raise $1.5 million, and it's now over $9 million, which is pretty massive.
Yeah.
So that's great. But yeah, if I could say anything to anybody, it's that if you're going to donate money, there are some great places to do it. Bail funds for protesters that are getting arrested and can't afford to get themselves out. Stuff like that can actually make meaningful and impactful change. So, good story, but I don't think we're close to seeing the end of sad versions of this.
Well said, Frank.
Another good story that needs to be talked about is I think me and Francis agreed on all topics today, and that could be a first for the morning jog. So that's a feel good story right there. But Francis nailed this one. It's great that they raised the money for this guy, but the unfortunate side of it is that there are now hundreds of more of these cases that are not going to get money, and it's just awful. Even doing this show, it just feels weird this morning. The whole world, it just feels weird right now. But what's terrible, there's hundreds, if not thousands of more business owners now that are going to be going through this and may not get the relief that they need. I even saw some interviews of people who they were getting ready to have their stores reopen, so they went and brought in all this inventory, only then just to be taken away. It's just sad times, but again, you see something like this, I hope media outlets continue to put the feel-good stories out there, because, it's one of many.
Yeah. The paradox, I think, for me is I can completely understand if I were a business owner, how gutted I would be of this happening. And I can also understand the anger that went into why it happened. So it's I can't really sit here and say personally, be fuck these people. It's because, it's these people are doing, most of them, obviously there are a few bad apples, many bad apples, but I don't know, these people feel like they're doing something that is actually going to progress their stance without necessarily, I don't know. And if that has a few casualties in the short run, then I think that's kind of just a means to an end. So it's a difficult, that's why it's such a lightning rod. You can't go on Twitter without seeing, without needing to log off immediately. But who knows? Hopefully we were able to offer a little bit of entertainment in this segment here. But thank you for listening here. We'll be back same time, same place for tomorrow. That's Robbie Berger, and that is Francis Ellis. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Peace.